venture capital. Looking back on this now, I'm still shocked remembering that even by the end of my undergraduate degree, I didn't know what biotech, venture capital, or even what engineering was. My worldview felt so narrow, and I was adamant about widening my aperture of experience. Even though I was constantly told my resume was unclear and didn't make any sense, I was relentless in prioritizing this process of self-discovery. I wanted to understand the bounds of possibility, given who I was and who I was aiming to become. I came to the Psychoactive Pharmaceutical Investigation Master's program here at UW-Madison as a mature student who had just made the decision to leave a company developing drugs for a genetic form of ALS and other neurodegenerative diseases. I arrived seeking community and a new substance for discourse, a springboard to continue making myself uniquely qualified for something in some way, although I still didn't know what that something was, and you know what, I still don't. One of the things I loved most about the program was how unusual the cohort was. We had scientists, physicians, nurses, lawyers, pharmacists, investors, school teachers, individuals in very different roles and seasons of life, all united by a deep interest in understanding how psychoactives impact the brain, and ultimately one's perception. I arrived with an open mind and was met by others that I had a lot to learn from, both academically and experientially. Just like this program, the biopharmaceutical industry is becoming radically more transdisciplinary. This is particularly prevalent in neuropsychiatry, but it's branching out elsewhere as well. It's evident that the future of drug development is not going to be built exclusively inside a single discipline, institution, or company. The walls between fields are collapsing. And honestly, that's what makes this moment so exciting. It's such an honor to be speaking with you all as you embark on this next epic of your personal narrative. I feel very privileged and proud to have been part of the first cohort for the PPI program. Psychedelics and other psychoactive medicine have forced serious scientific, medical, and cultural conversations back into the open after decades of stagnation. This program, affiliate programs, and faculty, and this institution are all actively a part of writing the next epic of biopharmaceuticals and is trailblazing in reimagining how we can leverage psychoactive substances for human healing and flourishing. Amazing. I believe that neurotherapeutics have the most to gain from new technology. If the psychedelic renaissance ushered in a new epic of neuropsychiatric therapeutics development, changes in the way we develop neurotherapeutics across indications like neurodegenerative disease and neurological disorders more broadly is ushering in a new epic of medicine across all therapeutic areas. At the same time, AI is rapidly changing how we discover and evaluate therapeutics. Small startups can now build things that previously required massive pharmaceutical infrastructure. Biology itself is becoming more programmable, more computational, and more connected to disciplines that historically sat outside traditional pharmaceutical science. And despite all of this technological acceleration, I deeply believe human judgment is becoming more important, not less, especially human judgment that emanates from technical practice and expertise and applied generally in domains outside of their origin. Because at the center of all this are still very difficult questions. What matters biologically? What matters clinically? What actually changes a human life? These are not easy questions to answer, and I suspect they will remain difficult long after many other problems are solved. I think one of the biggest misconceptions people have, especially in highly technical fields, is that careers are discovered rather than constructed. That if you work hard enough, perform well enough, and collect enough credentials, eventually the right opportunity will appear in front of you in a clearly labeled box. Sometimes that happens. But more often, the people who end up shaping industries are the people willing to move toward uncertainty before they feel fully qualified. They ask for opportunities before they're obvious. They talk to people outside their field, follow problems instead of titles, tolerate ambiguity long enough for unconventional paths to unfurl into uniquely impactful ones. Looking back, most of the decisions that ended up defining my career did not look impressive or rational at the time. I met the first chief investment officer of a multi-family office fund who took a shot on me because I sparked up a conversation about wanting to learn life sciences investing in an Uber that I was driving him in. I became an independent consultant extremely early in my career, I would work on small projects at a time at several companies to gain knowledge, exposure, and information from people living lives I would never be able to live. I learned that a way to accelerate filling in the blanks of what I didn't know was to make friends with people outside of my domain. I entered rooms where I was deeply uncertain whether I belonged there. I took many stacked risks early. I adopted a mindset of taking each and every experience, including my master's degree here at UW-Madison, as a very valuable set of reagents that would yield the most impactful product if and only if I leaned into the experience and became a catalyst for the reaction myself. Funny joke, right? Over time, all of my decisions compounded into a career that felt much more aligned with who I actually was. I became an individual that had a unique vantage point and perspective to offer. I became an expert at applying my skills as a generalist, and you all can too. One thing I've observed over and over again, and this is an important one, in biotech and academia, in startups, and honestly in life more broadly, is that the world disproportionately rewards people who are willing to clearly and respectfully ask for what they want. It also disproportionately rewards people who are acquainted with humility and who are brave enough to contribute something to the world, regardless of knowing how it will be received. A surprising number of opportunities emerged simply because someone was willing to initiate a conversation, express genuine curiosity, or step slightly outside the expected path. I think I benefited enormously from learning that early, and I hope you all do too. I think that many incredibly talented people, such as yourselves, hold themselves back because they are waiting for permission, certainty, or a fully baked opportunity in the form of an offer before acting. What I hope all of you recognize is that your training is far more transferable than you may currently realize. In a world where scientific and technical knowledge creation is accelerating faster than ever before, we need more people who understand how pharmacologic perturbations impact human biology. Human knowledge, especially in the life sciences, is extremely valuable, especially in an area of extremely convoluted access to information representative of objective ground truth. You have all been trained in the scientific method and to think about how humans can create matter that can alter human biology. Isn't that wild? That's pretty wild. That way of thinking is very valuable beyond any single job title. It's valuable in hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, clinical practice, regulation, academia, government, and it's also valuable in entirely new categories that probably do not even fully exist yet. But the important part is this: your degree does not automatically make your path expansive. You do. You are graduating into a world that is changing extremely quickly. That can feel destabilizing, but it is also an extraordinary opportunity, because moments of uncertainty are often the moments when entirely new fields, careers, and ideas become possible. So my hope for all of you is that you leave here with an idea that maybe you don't need a perfectly defined path. It's that you remain open enough, curious enough, and brave enough to keep moving toward problems that genuinely matter to you, even when that map is incomplete. So remember, being an expert at being a generalist is valuable. Bleeding edge scientific thought and innovation exist within the folds of transdisciplinarity. And lastly, if you feel like you deserve something, ask for it. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you very much for having me today.
Almost died there. Thank you very much, Samantha, for that inspiring talk. It's really great to think about our graduates going out there and seizing the day, getting after it, and also thinking creatively about what their future can be and understanding better what they really want. So with that, I invite Lara Collier, Assistant Dean for Graduate Studies, to the podium for the hooding of the graduate students.
Thank you, Dean Swanson, and good evening, everyone. It is my honor to begin the recognition of our Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Science degree candidates. These are the highest academic degrees awarded and demonstrate completion of the most rigorous and advanced training. The PhD also represents completion of independent research projects that have made new and significant contributions to the body of knowledge in their respective disciplines. At this time, I ask that all PhD candidates please line up to the left side of the stage, and PhD advisors please line up to the right of the stage. I now ask Dr. Cody Winther to step forward and assist with the hooding of our Doctor of Philosophy candidates in pharmaceutical sciences. Sitting at the interface between chemistry, biology, and engineering, this program prepares the next generation of scientists to become leaders within academia, government, industry, and other sectors. I will now introduce the graduating students and ask the respective PhD advisors to assist with the hooding. I will also read the title of the candidate's dissertation work. I invite Dr. Tim Buney to step forward to hood Bailey Bell. Bailey Bell's dissertation title is Discovery and Characterization of Microbial Natural Products with Diverse Biological Activities. I invite Dr. William Rickey to step forward to hood Ava Kola. Her dissertation title is Overcoming Therapeutic Resistance, an integrative evaluation of crystal-engineered androgen receptor ligands through structural, molecular, and mechanistic profiling. I invite Dr. William Rickey to remain on stage to hood Han Zhang. Han's thesis title is Characterization and Regulation of Androgen Receptor Signaling in Prostatic Diseases. I invite Dr. Lian Yu to step forward to hood Caroline Fatina. Caroline's dissertation is Amorphous Pharmaceutical Solids, Structural Characterization and Formulation Strategies for Molecular Glass Formers. I invite Dr. Lingjun Lee to step forward to hood Fei Xuan Wu. Fei Xuan's thesis title is Advances in Mass Spectrometry-Based Proteomics and Post-Translational Modification Analysis, Method Development in Biomedical Applications. Dr. Lee is going to stay on stage to hood Gaoyuan Liu. His dissertation title is Mass Spectrometry Approaches to Neuropeptidomics and Ion Mobility-Assisted Biomolecular Characterization. I invite Dr. Weiping Tong to step forward to hood Daiwan Kim. Daiwan's dissertation title is Multivalent Dendrimer-Based Platforms for Targeted Cancer Therapy and Liquid Biopsy. Dr. Tong is going to stay up to hood Yuan Zhao. Ewan's dissertation title is Development of Targeted Molecular Platforms for Therapeutic Applications, Extracellular Protein Degradation and Antibody Conjugation. Dr. Tang is also going to remain on stage to hood Jiaomong Fang. Her dissertation title is DNA-Directed V-Snare Reconstitution into Nanodiscs.
Or not. So what we're going to do, everybody, is we're going to get the hooding, then we'll do a quick picture, and then off we go. And now we've got this forever. Congratulations.
Thank you. At this time, I invite Dr. Lucas Rickert to step forward and assist with the hooding of our Doctor of Philosophy candidates in Health Services Research and Pharmacy. This program integrates humanities, social, economic, and behavioral sciences to train the next generation of researchers to help address health outcomes and disparities for patients in the communities they live in. I will now introduce the graduating students and ask the respective PhD advisors to assist with the hooding. I will also read the title of each candidate's dissertation work as they approach the front and receive their hood. I invite Dr. David Mott to step forward to hood. Surah Al-Mahasis. Surah's dissertation title is Assessing Oral Antibiotic Prescribing in Wisconsin Urgent Care Centers, Use, Appropriateness, and Targets for Improvement. I invite Dr. Michelle Chewy to step forward to hood. Shi-Ying Mai. Shi-Ying's dissertation title is Optimizing Polypharmacy in Hospital at Home. And Dr. Chewy will stay on stage to hood Stephanie Resendez. Her dissertation title is RX Vita, a co-designed patient education tool to enhance medication knowledge and self-efficacy for Spanish-speaking patients in rural Wisconsin. I now introduce Lindy Stoll to share more about our programs in applied drug development and psychoactive pharmaceutical investigation and assist in the hooding of these graduates.
The Applied Drug Development Program, designed in collaboration with biopharmaceutical industry partners and launched in fall of 2020, prepares graduates for careers in drug development, manufacturing, and regulatory affairs. At this time, I ask that all applied drug development students please line up to the left of the stage. I would now like to invite Dr. Eric Buxton, Director of the Master of Science and Graduate Certificate Program in Applied Drug Development, to hood the graduates. I also invite Dr. Cody Winther to assist with the hooding. Okay. So y'all are a little bit out of order, but I think I know who everybody is, so we're gonna go with it. Okay, I will now introduce the graduating students in applied drug development. Lee Ann. Sakshi Balgi. Jewel Jose. Smitha Narlia. Catherine Navican. Jada Zhu. Anjana Thomas Pelisheri. Dhruv Sriram. And I would like to point out that Dhruv is our first sibling pair, or sibling to graduate from the program. His sister is an alum, one of our early alums. Yeah. Ridham Shah. Dhruvi Patel. Nitin Naluram. And that concludes our Applied Drug Development Master's students. Now we will focus on the Psychoactive Pharmaceutical Investigation program. This program is focused on preparing students to take on innovative, scientific, and interdisciplinary roles in the discovery, development, regulation, and clinical application of drugs acting on the central nervous system. This program started in fall of 2021, so it is also a young but thriving program. At this time, I ask that all psychoactive pharmaceutical investigation students please line up on the left side of the stage. As the director of the Masters of Science and Graduate Certificate Program in Psychoactive Pharmaceutical Investigation, Dr. Winther will hood these graduates. Dr. Buxton will assist. You can scoot up just a little bit right there. Just make some more room. There's a lot of you all this time. This is great, but we need to make a little more room. All right. I want to get clear line of sight for the audience, so we're waiting for everybody to get queued up. All right. Our first PPI graduate, Isabel Bermudez. Comet Cleary. For those of you watching the live stream of this at home, Comet Cleary has a very enthusiastic family member cheering him on. She's very proud of her dad. Yay. David Cox. Brian Creer. Marlon T. De Los Reyes. Beverly K. Fergus. And for those of you watching at home, Bev also has some very enthusiastic family members. Dana Harris. Alexandra M.K. Yokomizo. Maya Trivedi. Audrey F. Tharp. Mary K. Sluter. Dylan P. Schaefer. Aaron J. Lyle. Heather J. McComas. Aw. Tessa N. Mullen. A special acknowledgement to our master's graduates and capstone certificate recipients in applied drug development and psychoactive pharmaceutical investigation programs who are celebrating remotely. Our fully online and hybrid structure allows for a diverse and widespread student body integral to the richness and success of our academic community. Congratulations on reaching this milestone. The success of these master's and certificate students was supported by the tireless efforts of the program's student services team. Special deep felt thanks go out to Amira Karachik, Ace Hilliard, and Chris McIntyre for their dedication to our students.
To all our Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Science degree candidates, as well as those who have completed their graduate certificates, to those here and those who are not able to join us here in person, congratulations on your hard work and remarkable dedication that you've shown in earning your degree and your pursuit of excellence. Today, the boundaries of our university officially expand to wherever your careers take you. As you join this elite group of alumni, you carry with you the Wisconsin idea, the conviction that your expertise in drug development, psychoactive investigation, and health services research belongs to the public good. You are now leading the way to make the world a better, healthier place. Congratulations to you all. I now invite Audrey Tharp back to the podium, Master of Science candidate in Psychoactive Pharmaceutical Investigation, to speak on behalf of the Master of Science candidates. Audrey was born and raised in San Diego. She earned her bachelor's in medical sciences overseas at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. She gained experience in clinical and non-clinical research in the biotech industry before entering the PPI program. I'm looking at you just to make sure I didn't get anything wrong, so just nod if I'm doing it right. where she's now graduating with a master's in psychoactive pharmaceutical investigation. So Audrey's work focuses on discovering and advancing alternative treatments for individuals suffering from mental health and substance use disorders, two very important causes. Thank you. Come on up, Audrey.
Hello. I got it. Thank you, though. First, I want to start off with saying congratulations to all of the graduates here. You guys have all worked so hard, so let's really take a moment and congratulate one another. Because you know the inevitable, what are you doing next questions are coming right after the ceremony ends. And to all of our family and friends here today that will be asking that question, thank you so much for joining us and celebrating each and every one. Thank you to my mom, my grandparents, and my partner for being here as well. Hello, I'm Audrey Tharp. Thank you, Dean, for that awesome introduction. And when I started this program, I expected to learn the usual things. I expected to learn the science, the mechanisms, and the pharmacology, with a little bit of confusion and maybe one moment of wondering why I started this. And yes, I did do all of that. We learned how to analyze the data, we learned how to critique the literature and survive our group projects, but we also learned how to sit in uncertainty, how to challenge ideas without shutting one another down, and how to stay curious in a field that doesn't always offer clear answers. We built a rare community. We built friendships that go beyond our classes, and we built a sense of purpose that extends far beyond our graduation here today. The most important thing I think we learned is that our voice is most powerful when we say things together. And that matters because this is not a simple field. This pharmacology lives at the intersection of science, medicine, policy, and public perception. It's a space where the evidence is still evolving, the conversations are admittedly still catching up, and the stakes are very real. So that matters because what matters is what kind of scientists we become when we leave here today. And it's become personal for me. I started this research because of my father, and when I entered this program, he had just passed. And being in that grief didn't give me any simple answers, but it made me realize that the work that we're doing is far more important than I ever realized. Because what we're contributing to, whether it's the research or the development or the regulatory practice of it all, we have the potential to reach people at moments when they need it most. Not in an abstract way, not just in our publications and our presentations, but in real human lives, because we can be a part of something that can save lives. Someone else's father could still be here today because of this work. We spend so much time focusing on the data and the endpoints and the study design that we don't really take the time to realize what our impact is. It reaches into families, it reaches into our relationships, and it can give people second chances. That's a massive responsibility to carry, and a huge reason why we're ready to carry that forward is because of our faculty here today. To our teachers, our mentors, our TAs, our academic advisors, we truly cannot thank you guys enough for the effort that you've put into this program. You didn't just teach us what's in the literature, you taught us how to question it. You showed us how to think critically in a field that doesn't always have clear, direct answers, and how to stay grounded when our conversations around this work could get complicated. You also did something equally important. You treated us all like future colleagues. Not only did you make it possible for us to be here today studying this industry, but you challenged us, supported us, and managed to keep us on track when our conversations got a little too unrealistic. You gave us the confidence to enter this evolving field, feeling empowered that our voices will be heard and that our impact will make a difference. And most importantly, you reminded us that this field does not move forward without people like us, people willing to do the hard, sometimes slow work of getting it all right. As we leave here today, we are stepping into a space that is still evolving. There will be noise, there will be skepticism, and there will be moments where the progress feels slower than we would like to admit. But there is also real momentum, and that means we have a role to play. Our job is to bring evidence where there is noise, clarity where there is confusion, and humanity where there is stigma. And while today is about earning a degree, what we're really walking away with is something much harder to define. A determined community that is dedicated to do the hard work and willing to help one another. So whatever does come next for each one of us here, I hope we carry that with us. I hope we keep asking better questions. I hope we lean on our community that we built here today. I hope we stay open to changing our minds. And I hope we continue to do this work with both rigor and compassion, because the work we do doesn't just show up in labs or journals. It shows up in people's lives. Thank you all for such a beautiful and transformative experience within this program. I'd like to leave you all here today with a quote from my father's favorite movie, Tommy Boy, and from a famous Wisconsinite, Chris Farley. I got a D+. I'm going to graduate. Congratulations.
Audrey, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, and thinking about how it's really important for us to really remember how important the work is that we're doing, and that we've worked really hard for these degrees. It's worth it. Going to make some big differences. And yeah, D+. So I now invite Surah Al-Mahsis, PhD candidate in the Health Services Research and Pharmacy program, to speak on behalf of the Doctor of Pharmacy candidates. Surah was born and raised in Jerash, Jordan. She earned her Doctor of Pharmacy degree from Jordan University of Science and Technology, an outstanding institution, and a Master's in Health Outcomes Research and Policy from Auburn University. She is now graduating with her PhD in Health Services Research and Pharmacy and a doctoral minor in Population Health Sciences. Surah's research focuses on assessing, as you heard from her thesis title earlier today, assessing antibiotic prescribing practices in urgent care settings and using real-world data to inform intervention design. After graduating, she will begin a preventive effectiveness fellowship at the Centers for Disease Control. I would imagine that's a really hard thing to get these days, particularly, but that's a prestigious fellowship. Congratulations. In the Division of Healthcare Quality Promotion, with a focus on the epidemiology and prevention of healthcare-associated infections and antimicrobial resistance. Surah?
Thank you, Dean Swanson. Hello. All right. Faculty, families, friends, and fellow graduates, good evening. And good morning to the parents, siblings, and loved ones watching from across the world after midnight. That's my family. Thank you all for being here to celebrate the class of 2026 doctoral graduates. When I began my PhD in 2022, I thought research was all about generating answers. I have since learned it's mostly about questions, better ones, harder ones, and sometimes uncomfortable ones. My name is Surah Al-Mahsis, and I was born and raised in the beautiful city of Jerash, Jordan, an ancient city rich in history, culture, and community, and interestingly enough, also known for its quality dairy products. So looking back, ending up in Wisconsin, for those who don't know, America's dairy land, feels like a funny coincidence. During my PharmD training in Jordan, I became increasingly curious about how treatment decisions are made in the first place, like who determines what becomes a guideline, what counts as evidence, and how research ultimately shapes patient care. That curiosity eventually brought me from Jordan to Auburn University and then here to UW-Madison. If I had to choose one word, only one word, to describe this journey, it would be grit. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet, steady kind. I felt it on nights when I ran the same analysis for the third time, convinced I had broken something, only to realize it simply was not working yet. It showed up when writing a single paragraph became an exercise in precision, where every assumption had to be carefully examined. It is the kind of regret that keeps you going, not because you're certain, but because you're willing to sit with uncertainty a little longer. That experience was not unique to any of us. Across datasets, labs, and dissertations, we were not just producing research. We were learning to think differently, to see systems, not just problems, and to navigate complexity with discipline and humility. For many of us, including myself, this journey meant crossing oceans, and for others, it meant crossing state lines. All of us left something familiar behind, and somewhere along the way, Madison became more than where we earned our doctorates. It became home. And that home was built by people, our peers, mentors, collaborators, and friends who supported us every step of the way. We arrived here from different places, different disciplines, and life stages, but we all shared one thing: the courage to begin again. And now, we're about to do so once again. In the coming weeks, we will step into new roles, cities, and uncertainties, but we do not begin from scratch. We carry forward what this journey has given us: the humility to question what we think we know, and the discipline to think critically in complex spaces. And with that new beginning comes responsibility. A PhD is not just about expertise. It is also about responsibility. It is recognizing that our work does not exist in isolation. Behind every data set, every intervention, every experiment, there are real people, real communities, and consequences. The world needs more people who can ask better questions again, see systems rather than individuals alone, and turn knowledge into real change. This journey here has prepared us to do exactly that. By understanding the needs of the communities we serve and working collaboratively to improve patient outcomes, inform clinical practice, and shape policy. None of us got here alone. Behind every milestone were mentors who guided us, collaborators who trusted us with meaningful work, and families and friends who believed in us, whether nearby or across the world. Yes, the diploma has or carries our names, but this journey was shaped by many people along the way. If there is one thing we carry forward, it is this: the ability to begin again, not from scratch, but from strength. So as we leave this place that challenged us, shaped us, and became home, we carry more than a degree. We carry perspective, responsibility, and the quiet regrets that have brought us here in the first place. Fellow graduates, congratulations, and as always, on Wisconsin.
Thank you, Surao, for that inspirational presentation and thinking about how important it is to be tough, to have grit, and to build a community. Came all the way over from Jordan to the other Dairyland. We're proud to have you here. I think you're a natural fit here, so that's really wonderful. It's a wonderful, heartwarming story. So that concludes that. With that wonderful speech, this concludes the speaking portion of the ceremony. I thought I was going to get the loudest applause there. A final thanks to those who organized today's event, especially Ace Hilliard. Really appreciate it. And Holly Thompson. There's Holly right over there. Thank you, Holly. And to all of our volunteers, thank you for lending us your time and talent. We could not have done this celebration without your support. So after this, we go retire to the lounge, the Lee Lounge. That's just down the hall here on the right. It's where the food is. So you can go there and mingle and chat with each other. Can go out onto the patio here or wherever you can find access. Be careful. Make sure the door doesn't lock when you go on the out of it. That's a pro tip. And so also faculty and graduates, we're going to proceed out to the courtyard for some group pictures. Then we'll come back for the reception. Keep an eye out for Bucky Badger. Bucky Badger will be here shaking hands and doing all kinds of silent stuff, you know. So I find it a little weird, frankly, but people are into that sort of thing. So anyway, members of the 2026 class, congratulations. One more round of applause. And on Wisconsin.